What's good, y'all? This is the OG Bronc Nuts, 719 West here for the review of the game. Broncos get their second win in a row at home today. The Mile High Punting Fest. I don't even know how many punts were in the game. I think there was like 15 or 16 punts. Something ridiculous. But let's talk about the game. And just happy the Broncos got another win. And I kind of figured we were going to win this game. And it's going to make things interesting for the Thursday night game coming up against the Chiefs, who've now lost 2 in a row at home. So let's get to talking about it. First thing is that I wasn't really impressed with our offensive line play, and it seemed like Flacco and our offensive line, we were just off. Like, we could move the ball, but then we would get a dropped pass or a sack, and it felt like Flacco held down the ball a little bit too much today. But it was definitely enough to win. And glad to see, the Broncos get to string together 2 in a row here. And we get a chance to make the Chiefs' life miserable on Thursday night, because if you saw what I saw today, the Chiefs have no running game. They can't run the football, proving once again that I called last year that Kareem Hunt was the best player on the team, and it was really what was making the Chiefs go. And then they also can't stop the run. So those are two things that we do very well. So I think it's a decent matchup. But our offense is going to have to play much better on Thursday night than we did today to have a chance to beat a high-powered offense like the Chiefs, just to keep up with them. So defensively, you kind of knew as a Broncos fan that a day like that was coming, that we would have a day where we'd get to the quarterback a bunch of times and maybe get a few picks, get some turnovers, just have some things bounce our way, which hadn't happened really throughout the first 4 or 5 weeks there. So it's good and refreshing to see that. Interesting stat I saw during the game is that the Broncos were 6th best in the league at pre-snap penalties. And so last year, if you looked at the way things were being done under Vance, pre-snap penalties and pre-snap timeouts coming off of, we did have a timeout today when we were getting ready to kick a field goal, but those kind of things really hurt a football team and cost you to win, and you can't do that in the NFL. And so it's just nice to see we're doing so much better at some of those mental mistakes. Shout out to everybody joining the stream. What do you think about the Broncos today? I mean, it's nice to get a shutout, but I think for me, I kind of just feel, really unimpressed. I'm happy that we got the win. It's always hard to get a win in the NFL, but, we got one today, and that's all that really matters, is just get the win, and let's move on to next week, stay alive, get some guys healthy. I think Emmanuel Sanders got a little bit dinged up today. If anybody has any information on how he's doing, put it in the comments section here in the chat. I'm watching the chat. Welcome to the stream. Psycho Sam, A Fizzles, Brandon Bear, David from Colorado, Bronco J, Max Spencer Alvarez. Just happy these Broncos are back to a situation where if we can somehow win on Thursday night in Denver, we're right back in the mix of things, especially with the way the Chargers look tonight. I think this game's pretty much a wrap. It's already 14-0, and the Chargers don't look good at all. And who knows, from what I've seen today from the Kansas City Chiefs, I wouldn't be surprised to see the damn Raiders win the division, because this is not a good division as people think it is. And I think that the Chiefs they're ripe to be beat in Mile High. And we're going to get to that video probably tomorrow or Tuesday of next week. But tonight, let's talk about our defense, how well it played today, being able to get in the quarterback, causing lots of turnovers. Another fantastic game by 45, right? I mean, A.J. Alexander's coming up. A.J. Johnson is coming up big for the Denver Broncos at inside linebacker. Also thought Kareem Jackson played another good game. Chris Harris had another good game. Just overall, through a little bit of adversity of losing Bradley Chubb, the Broncos have been able to hang in there and just impose their will today against a team that I thought was going to be able to run the ball in between the tackles. I mean, I've been saying the Broncos defense, our weakness is a guy that can run between the tackles and a big tight end that can't be covered by our inside linebackers. And Alexander Johnson's making a big difference in the middle. And I can't believe what they saw in preseason and in the first 2 games, or even 3 games, from Josie Jewell that made them believe that he was going to be the starting middle linebacker in Denver, because that guy is terrible. You can tell that A.J. Johnson really brings a lot of heat when he comes. I mean, he brings the hat, got after the quarterback, just a bigger physical body, and I think it's really something that you need in the NFL. Arrow 24 says Walker with 2 sacks. I know a couple of my buddies were texting me that during the game. Said, wait a minute, did Coach Fangio somehow turn DeMarcus Walker into a football player? And I wouldn't get too excited about that right now because the guy's made literally like 2 or 3 plays in 5 games. So, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to let Walker off the hook yet. I still think he's a bust for a second-round pick, but we need to get him more on the field. He needs to get more involved in the game. Devontae Harris has been playing well. Spencer Alvarez, I agree. We had a lot of young guys step up. Malik Reed really stepped up today. Wolf played a pretty nice game. I think he got him a sack or 2 in this game. And it was just nice to see us be able to get after the quarterback. I mean, you saw some funny looks. I mean, one play, we only rushed 2 and dropped 9 into coverage, or actually 8 into coverage. I think we had somebody spying on the quarterback or something. But, man, some weird defenses, but I think that's what you got to do is you got to get a little creative. And I think that's also why guys like Khalil Mack call Coach Fangio the evil genius. I think that, we've got to give this some time and let this whole defensive scheme and our culture of our locker room and the meshing between our teammates and Fangio work together. And that's why I've said that I'm not really going to judge much of Fangio what happens on a game-to-game basis this year. I got to give him a year and maybe even a year and a half before I really start forming an opinion about the guy. But I'm just happy that we're off that schneid of those losing streaks and we've now started a winning streak. And we've gotten a little pep in our step, and we've got a big game coming up Thursday that I think, from what I've seen is winnable because I think you're going to be able to get to Mahomes. I think we're going to be able to run the football against him. I don't think they've got a running game, which is probably the biggest weakness that we have. And so then it's just going to come down to can we contain them from scoring a lot of points and putting another dub up and getting right back really in the mix of everything if we can win that game. So just happy about that. Sports Psycho Sam says Alexander Johnson's a beast. Shout out to Mike Purcell and DeMarcus Walker. Look, you saw you guys have been watching my streams. I told you about AJ Alexander, literally, or I call him AJ Alexander because his name is Alexander Johnson. AJ Johnson, I told you about him literally 5 minutes after we signed him. I was looking for the Broncos to sign this guy as an undrafted free agent. He was brought up on some rape charges, was out of football for 3 years, and then got acquitted of those charges, and we literally signed him right as the gavel went down to a contract here, and I'm so thankful that we did. And it also makes some sense now on why, we might have drafted Noah Fant instead of Devin Bush, but, Bush has made 2 huge plays in this game tonight, and Fant had another game where, He's just like, there's nothing about him that's shiny. Like when you get a new toy or a new car, you want to go show it off. There's nothing that you really want to show off about Noah Fant. Yeah, he had a good reception and run for a touchdown a couple weeks ago or last week, a couple weeks ago, I think it was. But since then, outside of that play, he doesn't have done a whole lot to really wow us as a first-round draft pick. Sutton had another big day today. Did drop one that I thought he could have caught, but he's more active in the game plan. He's really emerging and showing that he's that wide receiver number 1. And I've said it from the very beginning after watching Sutton play a couple of games. With his size, speed, and strength, I think Sutton is one of the next great ones in the NFL. Let's just hope we can get a quarterback situation that can get him the ball more because I really think he's a good player. Brandon Barrett, hold up, my boy Mike Purcell stepping up big time. He did. A lot of Broncos stepped up big today because we're beat up a little bit on defense. We had a long injury list going into this game. And to be able to overcome all of those things and walk out not only with a win, but with a shutout win has Bronco fans feeling pretty good. Purcell's from Air Force. I didn't actually know that he went to the Air Force Academy. Brandon, I didn't know that he was. Let's see what else we got here. Flacco is below average. It's obviously Drew Lock time. Well, if you've seen the stat, actually, Flacco's got a 66% completion rating, which is the best he's ever had in his career. So if that's average for a Super Bowl MVP, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't think Flacco's playing average. I think Flacco's playing pretty well. I do think that he looks to check the ball down a lot, but it's been working. I mean, even Freeman checking the ball down to him. I mean, I hate when we try to run Freeman on the read option or, anything that, is out wide on the sweep. I think he's too slow hitting those holes, but it's been working him coming out of the backfield. And so is Lindsey. So we're picking up big first downs, knocking off big chunks of yards, and then we take our shots downfield every now and then when we get those shots, which we did. I mean, the ball he threw to Sutton was a great ball that just didn't get caught. We threw another big long pass. I don't think Flacco's playing average at all. I think Flacco's playing good. Not great, not very good, just good. Better than what we've seen here as far as quarterback play since Manning's been gone. He's the best quarterback we've had since Manning's been gone, that's for sure. And it is not Drew Lock time, in my opinion. CA Sports, let's go Broncos. I know you were hyped up for the game, and I appreciate your enthusiasm and spirit and your support for the Broncos. CA Sports, I know you're a new youngster here, repping the Broncos on YouTube. Anybody not subbed up to CA Sports, he's just getting started, gathering up some subs. Go give him some love, sub up his channel, listen to what he has to say. I do like Spencer Alvarez says AJ Johnson, AK the Dino or the Dino. His Dino dance is money. It really is, man. I mean, if you guys haven't seen, he comes out like T-Rex when he comes. It is money. It is money, and it's something different that we haven't seen a lot in the NFL. So it's kind of a refreshing thing. I mean, I like all the dances and the funny things that players on all teams do. I think it just adds to entertainment to the game. And just good to see him having some success out there. I know Fangio, even after he played well last week, Elway gave Fangio the game ball after the game. And Fangio said, look, and he could have easily kept it. It was his first NFL win as a head coach. First one. I mean, that's a monumental thing as a head coach. And he turned around immediately and gave it to AJ Johnson last week. And I think it's really because without his play last week, I don't know if we'd have won that game. And to see him come out and play another good game after Fangio said, look, there was a lot of things he did in that game that were sketchy. He got away with a few things that he shouldn't have, that he's going to have to clean up. And I think he's just getting better and better every single week. And I'm excited to see how he progresses, because if he can really solidify that middle linebacker spot for us, that really changes my whole thought process of what I want to do in the draft next year. People have been asking me, Broncos, who do you want the Broncos to pick at quarterback next year? Nobody. I don't want a quarterback next year. I mean, I think we'll probably draft one, but if we do, it's going to be late rounds. We're not going to take a quarterback in the first round. Look, we signed Flacco to a 3-year deal, and we still haven't even seen what we really have in lock yet. To say we're going to go after a quarterback in the first round is moronic. I just think we need to let's just everybody take a breath, take some time. We didn't expect this team to be a Super Bowl contender before the season started, and we're still not a Super Bowl contender. We're not even a playoff contender right now. We've got to do much better things, get much more consistent, especially on the offensive side of the ball, before we can really be taken seriously. Heck, in week 8, I think against the Colts, they already flexed us to the morning game. I mean, they're getting us to play right after the grass mowers get done on the field. They want us out of there early. And the Broncos deserve that. You go 4-12 last year, you start off 0-4 this year. Look, you deserve to get kicked to the bottom of the barrel as far as TV viewership, and you got to earn your way out of that. And I think that we made a big step in these last 2 weeks doing that, and let's just hope that we can continue it a little bit. Hey, Fizzle Productions, I forgot about DeMarcus Walker, who's still on the team. Winded up calling him T. Marcus Walker 2 weeks ago. Look, I agree, man. I never liked him from the very beginning. I put out a draft video the day we drafted DeMarcus Walker, and I didn't want him. I wanted to draft the Bears tight end Adam Shaheen, because we didn't have a tight end at the time. The guy they were billing as Baby Gronkowski coming out of college. But, he's had a decent pro career so far, definitely better than DeMarcus Walker's had. But I don't think that even he was warranted as a second-round pick. And I think the Bears moved up to take him, and I liked him a little bit later than that. But I think Walker so far has been a bust. But, let's see how he keeps going, how he keeps playing. So far, he's turning some heads. He did today, made a couple big plays today, made a big play last week. But those are really the only big plays I've seen Walker make since he's been in a Bronco uniform. So he's got to put a lot more of those types of games together before I'm going to be sold that he was a good second-round draft pick, because right now I'm just not. See what else we got here. Texas Savage says, I'm glad I'm glad the Chargers are losing. Of course, we're always glad when any division rival's losing. But, we got our own problems we got to worry about. I'm not really too worried about the Chargers, Chiefs, Raiders, whether they're winning or losing. I'm more concerned about what this team is doing right now. Brandon Barrett, what's up with Manny Sanders? I don't know. I know that I saw that he got taken out of the game. I'm not sure even what his injury was. But, man, let's just hope we don't lose him for sure. Steel 58, what's happening? You're taking care of business for the Bronco fans. Steelers up 21-0. Well, look, the Chargers don't have an offensive line. Look, when your best offensive lineman right now is probably Michael Schofield, a guy that I wanted out of Denver so bad, they can't protect Rivers, and you can't put all this on him. I think Rivers has made some dumb errors and some dumb mistakes, especially that one that he threw behind, a backwards pass. You can't do those types of things in the NFL. You just can't. But at the same time, he's getting a lot of pressure. We got to him a lot last week. And let's just hope we can keep that up and get to Mahomes, because he's going to be limping in here on his gimpy left ankle. Hopefully, when they took the tape off of his ankle after the game, it swelled up like a pumpkin. Robert Sylvan didn't catch much of this game, but I heard DeMarcus Walker's name and Malik Reed's name more consistently on the radio. Well, I think a lot of that is because they've been forced to play with some of the injuries that we've had. But I'm not going to take anything away from DeMarcus Walker or Malik Reed. Malik Reed, I actually thought had a great preseason. He had a couple good games in there in the preseason where we were like, wow, this rookie's, really coming on. I think he's going to make this team. But, Walker, your second-round draft pick, he's going to have to do a lot more of what he did today for us before he gets out of the doghouse with me, because he has been really ineffective in Denver for the draft position that he's had. But I don't know, whatever. Spencer Alvarez says, sick and Bronc nuts. Well, look, this is just a win. This isn't really a victory lap. We're just discussing the game. But believe me, come when the sun comes up tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm going to be on the Chiefs' ass like you can't believe. I can't wait for the Chiefs to get here into the 52-80 to Mile High, because they have gotten away with a Santos double clank, a 3rd and 29, 2 seconds off the play clock, and score a touchdown. They've gotten away with some lucky stuff here in Denver, and I just don't believe that can continue to happen. And when you look at their defense, it was bad last year, and I think it's worse this year. I think they're really missing Justin Houston. I think Clark has been overbilled. I think that the defense has been broken up a little bit, and you saw even in their secondary, they were holding every other play, and you do that because you're getting beat. And so I think we've got an opportunity to really make a splash on Thursday. It's a short week. We get it at home. We got out of this game relatively healthy as long as Sanders can play. And I think we've got a good chance to beat the Chiefs. Although I'll admit, look, on paper, they're a better football team, a more complete team, put together team than we are right now, at least offensively for sure, which might be all you need when you look at a Broncos team today against really not that great of a defense that could only put up 16 points. We should have had a lot more, but I think we stumbled. We killed some drives. We had some, unfortunate things happen. But I think we did some good things in the game, too, that we have a little bit to look forward to. Savage Seb says, let's go. Look, man, we never lose the face, Seb. We never lose the face. And you especially. As bad as things ever look, you ever watch one of Savage Seb's videos? He always thinks we're going to win. And I think the same thing. Look, I can get a little negative after a game and get pissed about the way we played. And, man, the Broncos ain't going to do very good this year. But it's come kickoff on Sunday. When I put the gear on and they kick the ball off the tee, I always think we got a shot to win. Always, no matter what our record is or who's on the field, because I'm confident in our team. I'm confident in our playing in our home stadium. I know it's a difficult place to win. And so, I just appreciate a guy like Savage Seb as a Bronco fan. here on YouTube, always looking at the sunny side of things, always looking like all we need is a spark and we can get rallied, we can get going. So it kind of keeps me fueled too. So keep up what you're doing, boy. I like it. Nivets 4433. I think we're so used to the quarterback carousel that it's easy for us to beg for Locke. I mean, I can agree with that. There has been a quarterback carousel and a coaching carousel here in Denver since we won that Super Bowl. And a lot of teams go through that. I mean, they do. And I think that, we're back on track. We're better at the quarterback position this year than we were last year. I don't think Flacco's been disappointing here. I'm not disappointed with the way he's been playing. I do think he can play better, and I don't think Joe Flacco's played his best game in a Denver Broncos uniform yet. So there's some things to look forward to, and hopefully he finds a way to play his best game Thursday night, because we're certainly going to need it to be able to keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands and keep him on the sidelines. Let's see. Oh, somebody says Devin Bush just went down. Steel 58 says Devin Bush just went down. I haven't seen it. I mean, I got the game on over here, but I haven't been watching it. And that's unfortunate that happened, because, man, he's a good-looking player. Big kid, very physical, aggressive. I mean, he makes some things happen. It sure would be nice to see him as one of our middle linebackers. But I really thought that, our middle linebacking core did pretty good today, especially when you take into consideration the Titans probably have arguably one of the top 5 best tight ends in the league. I mean, Delaney Walker, week in, week out, year in, year out, getting it done for them. And I thought that was going to be a major problem for us today. And, he got a few catches, but for the most part, Delaney Walker really didn't hurt us too bad. So let's just hope we can keep that up, because they're definitely playing better at middle linebacker position with Josie Jewell hurt. Now, I don't want to see Josie hurt. I like Josie's heart. I like his toughness, but I just don't like his skill set, and I don't like his size. I think he's got decent lateral speed sideline to sideline, so teams that like to run, toss sweeps, those types of things. I think Josie he's pretty athletic, and he can get to the sideline and cut some of those runs down. But anything coming between the tackles, he's making every tackle from a defensive position. And when you look at A.J. Johnson, he comes in there hunting heads, ready to, crack some heads. And that's exactly what you need. You need a big, mean, tough kid anchor in the middle, because the NFL game's rough and these backs are big and they're bringing fresh ones at you every single down. So you got to have somebody in there that can really stop it. NetVets 433, we're more than a quarterback away from playoff team. We need O-line help big time. Leary and Bowles liabilities. I agree. Leary looked like a rookie today, which is disappointing, because, how many years he's got in the league. Bowles, he had one holding penalty, I think, today, but in the last 2 or 3 weeks, let's give some credit where credit is due. I think Bowles deserves to have a little bit of credit thrown his way. Let's don't, hold Bowles to the first few weeks when he was definitely holding 2, 3, 4, 5 times a game. He's played a little better, but he's still not where he needs to be. But he's making a step in the right direction. But I agree with you that our offensive line is a liability. It seems like Flacco doesn't have a lot of time to throw the ball. And I think that people know that we've got some holes at offensive line. Thankfully, we're getting good play at a Dalton Reisner at that left guard position. Colorado homegrown kid from Wiggins, Colorado. It's nice to see him really stepping up and doing well for a rookie, and really, anchoring solidifying a starting spot, hopefully for the next 10 years for the Broncos on that line, because, whether it's tackle or guard, no matter which side of the center's on, you need good players everywhere to protect your quarterback and have a chance to win. But we do need some offensive line help. I think we'll be better once we get our right tackle back. I think he's probably got another week or two, although I don't think what's his name, Elijah Wilkinson or whatever. I don't think he played too bad today, but you can tell that he gets beat a whole lot more than he should. And we definitely got to clean those things up, because if we can't keep Flacco upright in the pocket, we're not going to have a whole lot of success. I think you've seen when he tried to get out of the pocket today and scramble around, he's barely more mobile than Eli and Peyton Manning. And those guys ain't very mobile. So you got to keep Flacco clean. I think he made some really good throws. He threw some tight zipped balls in some tight windows. That one he threw to Sutton over the middle was a tight window, a little dart hit him right in the chest. That's nice to see, because we weren't seeing that at all last year. Miller High Time Sports says the Broncos what happened here? Broncos blank the Titans. Go Broncos. Yeah, I agree with you. King Stacy, welcome to the stream. The team's getting used to Vic Fangio's system. Hey, it takes a little bit of time. It takes a little time. People got to buy into it. People got to, believe in what they're doing and believe that Fangio's going to put them in the best positions to win. But I agree. I mean, we've had a lot of turnover at offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, head coaching, quarterbacks. And, teams you can't just expect to be good when you go through that type of a turnover. So I'd like to see us sit down with a head coach, for 2, 3, 4 years. Let's reevaluate, and hopefully Fangio's the right guy. I'm not singing his praises, but I'm also not throwing darts at him right now because I think it's too early to really tell what we got and what kind of leadership he's bringing this organization. Savage says, man, I ain't scared of nobody. I know you're not, and I like that about you. I like that you're not scared, and I'm not either. Look, I mean, it's any given Sunday. Any team can be beat. There's team, you see it every single, look what happened today. The Jets put a whooping on the Cowboys, and they were winless, coming back with a quarterback that hadn't played in 4 weeks. So any team can win. You got to have a little, couple good bounces. You got to play some inspired defense. And you gotta cash in your opportunities when you get a chance. And that's just really what the Broncos haven't done. We've had opportunities to win every single game we've played in. We could possibly have a couple more wins than we do. And if we win those 2 games, which really we got jacked with some bad calls at some unfavorable times, if those 2 things don't happen, you're sitting here looking at the Broncos with 4 wins. And, we're now in the talk of, are the Broncos going to win the AFC West? So it's not over yet, that's for sure. The Broncos can definitely string some games together here and get back in this. But if we don't win on Thursday nights against the Chiefs, the chances are going to be almost slim and none for us to have any chance at making a run to get back in the hunt to at least be competitive in this division. So big game coming up on Thursday night. I'll be at the game. So if anybody's at the game, you might want to look, see if you can, link up with me. Maybe we can do a live stream from the parking lot. I'm not sure what section I'm sitting in, but I know it's in the first level, and I think it's section 130. I'm going with a good friend of mine. Shout out to my boy Brian. If you're watching, old college roommate of mine called me up and invited me to the game. I don't know if I'm going to end up going with him or with somebody else, but I know one thing. I'm going to be at the game on Thursday night. So looking forward to it, and I'm just glad that the Chiefs lost, we won, because it sets up a matchup that is big for them, and it's really big for us as well. And I like big, juicy matchups, and that's certainly going to be one. Sports with Psycho Sam says Emmanuel Sanders is fine. Took him out as a precaution. That's good news. What'd they take him out for? I mean, he hurt his, was it Achilles sore or knee? I don't know even what he came out for. But if you know about that, type that in there, Psycho Sam. By the way, Psycho Sam, another Broncos video maker. Go sub him up if you're a Broncos fan. There's a couple of new guys. There's another young kid who, tries to, he's like, I don't know, 12, 13 years old, tries to do his videos like the 13-year-old white EDP with the whole reverse side cut. I mean, come on, dude, pick a side. Get your own style. Quit trying to copy somebody else what they do. Get your own style if you're watching this video, because I'm not even sure you're a Bronco fan from the videos that I've been watching. Anyone else happy with Cody Sensenbaugh signing? I'm actually happy, Spencer Alvarez says. I was too, man. He looks like he can be a nice little player for us. I also, the wide receiver, it was number 19. I don't even know his name. I didn't even know he was on our roster. I'm not sure if he was new or how he got in the game. I guess because Sanders was out. But we had a couple of new names, flying around the field today, making a couple of plays that I didn't even really, take any consideration that they were ever going to get in the game. So I'm looking forward to Cody Sensenbaugh doing some nice things. Isaiah Aguilar, the OG Broncos, go Raiders. I enjoy your show, man. Hey, I appreciate you coming and watching the show, Isaiah. I don't know if I guess you call it a show, just my thoughts. And Raiders look good. I mean, you guys are on bye week this week, and you've had a lot of adversity this year. And to have the record and be sitting where you're at with the record you've had, I think as a Raiders fan, you ought to feel pretty proud and pretty good about things. And especially if somehow your old buddies, the Broncos, can do you a favor and knock off the Chiefs on Thursday. That just makes things really interesting for the Broncos, Raiders, and the Chiefs going forward. Because if we win this game on Thursday, really the AFC West is wide open again, because we're only going to be 1 game or 2 games off the leader, and we're going to get to play the Raiders and the Chiefs again later in the year. So big game for us on Thursday night. Got to get this done. Miller Times Sports says Chiefs lost against the Texans. Well, hey, look, Texans are a good team. I think Texans are probably one of the I would say one of the 3, 4, 5 best teams in the AFC. I mean, Deshaun Watson, he's got some nice receivers, good little running back. Carlos Hyde was getting things done for them today. And a decent little defense that can put some pressure on a quarterback. I think Roby played pretty well for them today. So look for the Texans to make a playoff run this year too. And be a factor at the end of the season, especially that when you got Watson there as quarterback. I mean, he can make a lot of things happen. So let's just see how things pan out. And I'm not sure. Do we play Houston this year? Seems like no. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm not sure. Johnny Three Lays, Johnny Blaze, 719, West. You know it. Actually, some people have. I've had people say, "Man, you're a middle-aged guy. Why are you throwing up gang signs?" I'm not. I mean, I'm going to tell you all again. I live in Colorado Springs. I live on the west side. I went to high school over on the west side of Colorado Springs, and people where I live would always say, where are you from? And I'm like, the west, the west side. That's what we call it, the west. And it kind of just stuck. So that's why I kind of used that little shtick in the opening and the closing of my videos, but I'm sure some people misrepresented it as something else. King Stacy, I'm liking Alexander Johnson, and I think everybody is. I mean, he's really looking nice. Team member says Raiders going to be on top of the AFC. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. I think coming out from bye week, looks favorable. They'll probably win their next game. And if we beat the Chiefs, I mean, they're going to be right there where they need to be on the top of the AFC West. But it's still early in the season, and you can't make the playoffs in the first 8 games, and you can't make it in the last 8 games. You got to put together enough wins through 16 games, and we'll see if the Raiders are able to do that. But I think the Raiders are using Derek Carr a little bit better, using him more as just like a managerial, like a Phil Simms type of quarterback, right? I mean, a guy that just go out and you don't have to take as many chances. You got some good playmakers around you. They got a legitimate running back, and they were improved on defense. And so, look, Raiders going to be a feisty little team this year, but I'm just thankful we get another shot to play them, and we're going to get them in Mile High at the end of the year. And let's just hope, that's a big game. Let's hope that somehow, some way, we claw our way back into this and we make that a big game for the Broncos' last game of the year, because if we're going to do anything, then we're probably going to need that last win of the year to make something happen. So we'll see. Sports of Psycho Sam says Dalton Reisner's a beast. Well, he has been so far. He hadn't been making a lot of mistakes, a lot of penalties, been a leader. A couple weeks ago when he picked Lindsey up and threw him into the end zone. I mean, that's a heads-up play for a rookie. And those are things that you like to see, especially with draft picks that you're picking up, in the top 3 rounds. Reisner, I really liked him at the bottom of the first round, and I didn't see that there was any way we were going to be able to get him on our roster, because I thought he would already be gone and we were going to pick our first round. The only way I ever really saw it happening is that the Broncos traded down, and we traded down enough times to where we're at the bottom of the first round. And then, look, we need offensive linemen. Reisner's here. He's from Colorado. We like his size, his speed, his toughness, how smart he is. But to be able to grab him in the second round, I mean, I just think that's a good score for the Broncos. Doug Dimmadom Jr., thanks for joining the stream. The Raiders O-line is top 5 in the NFL, and they are second in the West. Raiders getting slept on. I agree with you. Look, I think the Raiders are getting slept on. I think the Raiders are a pretty decent team from what I've seen this year. But, injuries can change a lot of things. Sometimes you go through a little cold spell, you lose a couple games in a row, and then everything gets jumbled up. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, it looked like the Chiefs were going to steamroll this division and roll to a 14-2 or 12-4 record. And now, with what you've seen, the way they play defense and the fact that they cannot run the football without Kareem Hunt, you're not even sure if they can win the AFC West. So who knows what's going to happen before this is all said and done. Isaiah Aguilar, give a shout out and say good job, Oakland. Well, I'm not ever going to say good job, Oakland. I ain't no fan of the Jokeland Raiders, cuz. If you're looking for some Jokeland live streams or some Jokeland, go watch Raider. I'm sure he's putting some videos together right now, highlight reels, all that stuff. Go watch him. I ain't giving no shout out to the Raiders. I'll give credit where credit is due. Raiders look nice. Raiders beat us week 1, but it's a long ways from being over, and I'm not crowning the Raiders nothing right now. Corey H., all things considered, this was a good win, but the offense needs and should play much better against the Chiefs. Well, I think we do need to play much better, but I think we will play much better. And the reason why is because I really don't think the Chiefs are going to be able to stop our running game. They haven't been able to stop anybody's running game last year, and they definitely aren't stopping it this year. I mean, you even look 2 years ago in the playoff game, they got decimated by Derrick Henry. We had Derrick Henry bottled up today. I wasn't really worried about Henry so much beating us single-handedly, but I did think he was going to be able to run through the tackles and break off some big runs on us, which would really help their play action. And A.J. Johnson was really fundamental in making sure that didn't happen today. Let's see. Jay Soul, why do you look like a Vic Fangio lookalike? I'll take it. Hey, man, look, I'm almost 50 years old. I don't really look like anybody, but I guess somebody says I look like Fangio. I guess I do. Whatever. Manuel Sanders has a knee injury. Hopefully it's just a bruise. I don't think that says he should be ready to go by Thursday. Well, that's good because we really need to start getting him the ball a little more. He's a big contributor for us. Mr. Raider, good luck taking out the dangerous threat on Thursday Night Football because I'm picking your team to beat the Chiefs. Well, good, because you need us to beat the Chiefs. I mean, you do, and we need us to beat the Chiefs. There's not a lot of people that are in the AFC or even the AFC West, including Patriots fans, that don't want to see us beat the Chiefs. Because, I mean, look, the Chiefs were coming into this year like, oh, well, we got so close last year. We're entitled. We're going to go to the Super Bowl. We're going to bring home our first Lombardi trophy. And meanwhile, your trophy case still has 2 crickets in it. I mean, it's got nothing in there. So, Chiefs, I ain't worried about the Chiefs. From what I've seen today, the Chiefs have no chance at winning the Lombardi this year. 0 chance. 0. They have 0 chance, I think, of even getting to the AFC Championship game. Because late in December, you got to be able to stop the run, and you got to play defense, and you have to have a running game, and the Chiefs don't have none of that. They got Patrick Mahomes, and he's already looking shaky with that rolled-up ankle, which is what I've been saying. I'm not trying to say Mahomes is not a good quarterback, because he is. He may be one of the best doing it right now, especially with, some of these off-balance throws and no-look passes and some of the things that he's able to do. But what I've always said is that, look, he's a rookie when he did it, basically a rookie last year. And let's see how he performs after some injuries mount on him for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, right? John Elway won 2 Super Bowls after he had a torn bicep and they severed it. This guy hasn't even had a ding, not even a chink in his armor. And now he's going to probably play with a rolled up, hurt, sprained ankle for the rest of the year. And that's difficult to do when you try to play quarterback the way he does. So I think it's wide open. Hopefully we can put something together on Thursday night. Mile High 6'9". Hey, I'm making my video right now. It's going to be up. I'll be sure to watch it. I watch everybody that's Bronco Maker stuff. I mean, I don't always comment on your videos, but I always check them out. A Fizzle says we play the Texans in week 14. Well, the good news is, I guess, about that is that maybe by week 14 we can have a little something better as a product to put on the field. But the Texans sure look like one heck of a football team to me. Will Fuller's a good little wide receiver. I think that, they got good tight ends. They got some good players on that team. I think they look for the Texans to do something later in the year. Let's see what else we got here. Isaiah Aguilar says, come to my parents' restaurant downtown. Go in the afternoon. It's called Salsa Latina. Salsa Latina. Seems like I've been there. Where is Salsa Latina? Is it downtown, like on that little side street, kind of where the old Southside Johnny's used to be? If that's the one, I love that place. I've been in there several times. Y'all got good green chili. Iron Man says we need to switch back to the blue uniforms. I'm not a fan of them. I like the orange. I think we just identify as, the Orange Crush, orange. But hey, look, I mean, I don't care. It don't matter to me. It's just uniform. They can go out there wearing pink uniforms for all I care. I just win. I don't care what you wear. But it was nice to see the blue today. It was a nice little change up. Mr. Raider says there's a bunch of bandwagon Niner fans that are slowly crawling back to the top. Well, I wouldn't call Niners fans bandwagon. I mean, Niners got 5 Super Bowls, cuz. There ain't nothing bandwagon about that. I mean, look, the Niners have hit a bad streak and have had some bad things happen to them, but I mean, Colin Kaepernick took them to the NFC Championship game, and now, Jimmy G's playing good. Niners defensive line's probably the best defensive line in the league. They're playing great defense. Breida's playing well. Goodwin's making a heck of a run as a wide receiver. I mean, the Niners are a team to be reckoned with. Just because a team's winning and people are starting to chirp about them, don't make them bandwagon. Okay, don't make them bandwagon. Isaiah, you'd love to talk to me in person? Well, I'd get the chance, man. Maybe I will come into your parents' restaurant and see if I can hit you up. The Gambler. Do you think BTC will ever test 5K again? No, I really don't, man. I think we're forming the bottom right now. And I think that probably what's going to happen is more money printing, which the Fed's already announced. Last time that happened, that money has to go somewhere. Some of it's going to go into the stock market. Some of it's going to go into Bitcoin. Some of it's going to go into gold and silver. So I think that, if you're thinking about getting a little bit of Bitcoin, now is as good of any time to do it. Maybe buy a little bit now just in case it goes down. You can cost average, but I think 5,000's gone. A Fizzle says Chiefs going home in the wild card round. Well, I don't know. From the way it looks like right now, I'm not even so sure they're going to make it past the wild card round. Just like you, I just can't see how you can do it without a running game. And it's funny, too, because the Chiefs fans, after they lost Kareem Hunt, they were on YouTube like literally immediately. Don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. Sherman Williams will play just fine for us. He's a beast. And you can just tell that they are not the same offense without Hunt because Hunt sells the play action. Hunt can beat you out of the backfield on a wheel route for a 70-yard bomb. Nobody on that offense can do that for the Chiefs. And that's what makes Kareem Hunt so dangerous. And I think, look for the Browns to have even a little bit of an improved offense when he gets back in week 8. CA Sports, can the Broncos make the playoffs? Of course we can. We're not mathematically eliminated from nothing. So you've seen teams get hot, wheel off 8, 9, 10 wins in a row. It can happen. It's happened before. I don't know if we're built for the playoffs just yet, but anything can happen. Anybody can get hurt on other teams. The whole thing can get shook up. And look, you got to have some fortunate things happen to you, and you got to overcome some bad calls. You got to play good enough to beat the other team and the referees every single week. And we haven't done that every single week so far yet this year. So let's hope the Broncos have turned over a new leaf and we're at least on our way to becoming a better football team. Orange Crush 916 says Mahomes is hurt. Good for us. Yeah, man. Look. This guy ain't going to stay clean and healthy and injury-free for 15 years and just coast into the Hall of Fame like Chiefs fans think they are. Chiefs are like, oh, Bronc nuts. Oh, Mahomes is only 24, and he's probably going to get us 5 Super Bowls. Come on, get one. Win a Lamar Hunt trophy before you start talking any shit. Because all I've seen you do is lose 2 straight home games in a place that's supposedly one of the hardest and loudest places to play in the NFL. So Arrowhead ain't that big of a deal to win in. Iron Man says we're showing signs of becoming. We are showing signs. Isaiah Aguilar, you said yes to that restaurant. I think I know which one is theirs. I've been there several times, man. I like that place. Is that your dad that works the cashier there, that little old man? He's a good guy. I like him. Laz Stump says our defense was a lot better today. Yeah, it was definitely a lot better today, especially you get a shutout. But I think we can play even better. I really do. I think we can play better. I think that once A.J. Johnson really gets comfortable in there, I think he's going to get a little bit more aggressive and look for him to start, forcing some turnovers. That's what we really need. Mom, you're calling me during a live stream? Come on. Can't even believe you're not watching. Do I think the Patriots will go undefeated? Well, look, everybody's bagging on the Patriots because of the schedule they have to play. And, none of these teams, look, when the schedule came out, that's not how these teams were put together. Free agency and trades and cuts and everything happens. You can only play who the NFL scheduling puts in front of you. But I think the Patriots look pretty solid and definitely better defensively this year than I've seen in quite a while. And I think that anytime you have Brady, you got a chance to win every single Sunday. So, the chances of them going undefeated, Matt Rodriguez, is slim and none because teams just aren't able to do it. But I think if there's one team in the NFL this year that if I had, if somebody said you have to bet on somebody to go undefeated this year, my money'd have to be on the Patriots. They look pretty strong to me. USMC Sniper 123, what's happening? Good to see you in the stream. Definitely a great win for us today. Although we've definitely got to play better on offense. Only thing that worried me the most was our special teams defense. Yeah, agreed. One thing, speaking of special teams, how nice is it to see us just be able to catch and field punts? Uh-oh, my stream froze. Am I frozen still, everybody? Oh, I am. Can you still hear me? Ah, man. I don't know how to unfreeze it. I still see the timer running. It says that I'm live, but... Oh, so Sniper says, yeah, but you can still hear me. Well, hopefully it kicks back on. If you can't, I'm sorry. This is the second time this has happened to me in live streams over the last, 2 months. I don't know why it's freezing, but... It did. Anyway, I was about to ready to wrap it up anyway. I've gone 45 minutes. I want to catch the end of this game, and I'm sure you guys do too. Thanks, everybody, for joining the stream once again. Broncos get their second win in a row and got the sorry-ass Kansas City Chiefs coming into the 52-80 on Thursday. Colorado, the Rocky Mountain region, is going to be amped up for that, and I'm certainly going to be there yelling in their ear hole. This is the OG Bronc Nuts from the 719 West, checking up out of here. Feeling good about 2 wins in a row. Chiefs coming into town. And Mahomes, ice up, son, because this defense is coming. I'm out. See you tomorrow, suckers.